Hi. Today we're going to have a look at the typical things that you'll need to check and set up after initially registering with Yendo. Most of the things that we're going to look at are within the settings section. And the first thing we're going to do is have a look at the company settings that come through from the registration screen. Some of the important things to look for here are that the country is set correctly, and next that the year-end date is set to your previous year-end. Also, it's important to look at the lock dates. This lock date is the date before which all transactions are going to be locked. And typically this should be set to your previous year-end date. So we're going to set that to the 1st of March. The next field is the lock older than date. This is a rolling lock that will lock any transactions that are older than a certain number of days. It defaults to 90, but something like 30 is probably more appropriate for most businesses. And next we have tax and company references. These are whatever your company number is and your relevant tax number is. Time zone is important for Yendo to provide technical support. And of course the currency is important for your invoicing and tax calculations. So we're going to save that. Now the next thing we need to have a look at is bank accounts. Every business should have a bank account set up in Yendo. So when we come into the screen at first, there are no bank accounts, and we're going to hit the Add a Bank Account link to start adding one. Now the first thing we need to choose is the account type, and most bank accounts are going to be asset accounts. This is a typical checking or deposit account, and we're going to give it a name. And then an account name is the name that would be held with the bank. Sort code, and then account number. IBAN code if you have one. Country is important. It's the country in which that bank is held. Currency should also be set. And then status is just confirming that this is an active account. So we're going to save that account now. So now we have our first bank account. The next thing we need to do is have a look at tax codes. Normally the system will default to a 0 tax code, and there may be other codes in here depending on what country your business is in. But we're going to set up a new tax code, and typically this will be your normal city-state tax code. An abbreviation if you want, it's optional, and the rate will vary obviously between city, state and country. 6.5%, and again this is an active tax code. So there we have our two tax codes, 0 tax and then your normal city-state tax. And obviously you can add several tax codes in here depending on where you're trading or who you're trading with. The last thing we're going to do to complete the initial setup of Yendo is have a look at adding contacts. Contacts are your customers and suppliers, so before you can begin trading, begin adding invoices, the system needs to know who these customers and suppliers are. Now they can be imported from a CSV file, or in this case we can add an individual contact. First thing we need to do is choose, is it a customer or a supplier? So we're going to make it a customer. And we're going to give them a company name. and we're going to choose city and state, or state and country. Telephone, fax, mobile are all optional. Company reference, tax reference are all optional. Bank information is all optional, and integration code is optional. Also, this is used if you're moving transactions from an external system. I'm going to save that contact. So now we have our first contact here. So that's everything that you need to do to get Yendo up and running. From this point on, the system is fully set up for you to start adding sales and purchase invoices and for running your business as normal. Thank you.